hearts are filled with great happiness on this day of celebration. And Eleanor want you to know how much they appreciate your having traveled the distance to be here today. And they also want to acknowledge those who were unable to make the journey but who are here in spirit, including Eleanor's father, Mike, who is busy attending to his appendix as we speak, and who did make the journey but who is now back in Portland. So we wish him well, and we honor his presence here. Jason and Eleanor similarly want to welcome the spirits of those who are no longer with us to join us in this celebration. In witnessing this, you who are members of many separate communities become briefly entwined as one community. All of us who are assembled as witnesses are asked not just to rejoice and honor the bride and groom, but also to remain a sustaining community for them. So I am going to make a series of 3 requests, and I ask that those of you who are willing to do so will respond to each request with perspective. All of you who are willing to offer the wisdom of your own experience when asked for it, please say, I will.
I will.
At some point in their marriage, Jason and Eleanor might need comfort, and they may come to you for emotional support in addition to the support that they give to one another. All of you who are willing to offer your calm and loving assistance, please say, I will.
When you love someone, you do not love them all the time, exactly the same way from moment to moment. It is an impossibility. It is even a lie to pretend to. And yet, this is exactly what most of us demand. We have so little faith in the ebb and flow of life, of love, and of relationships. We leap at the flood of the tide and resist in terror its ebb. We are afraid it will never return. We insist on permanency, on duration, on continuity, when the only continuity possible in life, as in love, is in growth, fluidity, and in freedom, in the sense that dancers are free, barely touching as they pass, but partners in the same pattern. The only real security is not in owning or possessing, not in demanding or expecting, not in hoping even. Security in a relationship lies neither in looking back to what it was in nostalgia, nor forward to what it might be in dread or anticipation, but living in the present relationship and accepting it as it is now. Relationships must be like islands. One must accept them for what they are, here and now, within their limits. Islands, surrounded and interrupted by the sea, and continually visited and abandoned by the tides. One must accept the security of the winged life, the ebb and flow of intermittency.
Is not create a quick commonality by tearing down all boundaries. On the contrary, a good marriage is one in which each partner appoints the other to be the guardian of his or her solitude, and thus they show each other the greatest possible trust. Once the realization is accepted that even between the closest people infinite distances exist, a marvelous living side by side will grow up for them if they succeed in loving the expanse between them, which gives them the possibility.
You can do it, Robbie.
Of always seeing each other as a whole before an immense sky.
Letting them steep a while, but not too long. How fitting then that Jason and Eleanor's first act as a married couple should be the act of kindness and attention, which also mirrors the time they first met through the art of making tea. Yes, for those of you who don't already know, Eleanor and Jason met working in a tea shop. Actually, one of my favorite places, the Dow of Tea. And that's where they spent many hours sipping oolong tea and giggling together. As they are preparing this tea to share with one another, I'm going to share with you what this tea signifies to them. Tea is subtle yet profound, much like the shared experience that these two had as they gradually got to know and then fall in love with one another. Tea is an elixir that is both healthy and refreshing. It symbolizes this couple's intention to continually nourish and heal each other. Tea spans many cultures and beliefs. Jason and Eleanor have both traveled extensively, and they look forward to sharing future journeys and appreciating new and familiar culture, which highlights who these two people were and who they are about to become. This brief but important transition requires a moment of pause and mindful thought. The astronomer Galileo, in observing the intimate connection between the macrocosm and the microcosm, once remarked, "The sun, with all the planets revolving around it and depending on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as though it had nothing else to do."